You keep asking God to speak, but what if I told you He already has? Some of y'all are missing your calling because you're waiting for a booming voice when God is already speaking through your life. Let me break down 5 quiet but powerful ways God reveals your purpose without saying a word. Let's get into this video. Number 1, God highlights patterns in your pain. So start paying attention to the stuff that keeps breaking your heart, the things that you continuously go through. And honestly, there's more than one thing to this, okay? So like part of it is you go through things over and over again, the same trials and tribulations, because God is trying to show you something. Like there is a tool or a skill set or a resource that you're supposed to pick up in that season. But this is also a good sign as well if you've gone through it multiple times or if you're going through it in different ways, that this could be an opening or a pathway to your purpose. So if you're really thinking that this is the thing, like I've been struggling, I've been hitting a wall, my recommendation to you is to sit down and to literally write out every situation. Like if it's I've been cheated on 5 times, write it down 5 times. It's going to hurt, okay? If it is, I have been bumping heads with my mom for the last 5 years of my life, for 10 years of my life, write it down. I want you to write down each of those situations. And then once they're written down on paper, you can step back and take a high level overview of what are the patterns? Like what are things that are going on? There are 2 things that are going to happen when you do this. Number 1, you're either going to realize there's a pattern there and you do have a skill set of sorts that you can use that is in turn going to, help facilitate your purpose, and or 2, you're going to heal. So it's a win-win either way, whether this number 1 is for you or not, but there are patterns in pain. And so you really have to start to pay attention, especially if you want to experience less of that pain. Number 2, people constantly come to you for a specific thing. This is the one that I see the most often. If you're wondering, what is my purpose? What am I supposed to be doing here on earth? Listen, God's talking to you. Like if he's sending you people that are asking you for advice on the same thing over and over again, or if he's sending you people that are asking you to teach them something or asking them to guide them in some way, or maybe they want to just have your listening ear on a certain topic, and it's happening over and over and over again, whether or not you've like established formally yourself as an expert in that area, this is going to be happening even before that, right? That is a sign that that area is something that is tied to your purpose. For some people, it is your purpose. So for example, for me, I was really good at like graphic design, website design, and social media. And people would come to me over and over again. Before I was a coach, people would come to me over and over again asking me about these things for their business. Yeah, I was marketing myself, a little bit. But then when I realized people were coming to me, I was like, well, let me market myself a little bit more. And then boom, it was like, this is the thing, like do this thing. You know what I mean? And this is one of the reasons that I love YouTube so much, is that it almost gives you a space to do number 2. Like if you were to look at just all the things that you're interested in and all the skills and passions and talents that you have, and you were to go start making content on that thing. And I'm saying YouTube, but honestly, it could be any social media platform. But if you go start making content on those things that you're already passionate about, not thinking about a business, not thinking about making money, but if you go start doing that, you're going to see that people are going to gravitate towards a certain area of that content. So let's say, for example, like for me, it's faith, food, and fitness, okay? And it doesn't have to be niche-y, catchy like that. But I love faith, I love Bible studies, I love food, I love cooking, and I love fitness. I'm, obsessed. That's how I ended up being a nutrition coach, right? I got to those 3 areas because I was sharing way more than that. I was sharing faith, food, fitness. I was sharing motherhood. I was sharing, this is the tech stuff that I got this week. I was sharing, here's my productivity tips. Here's my morning routine. But the things that people tend to watch more of mine are faith, food, and fitness. So even though there are a lot of other content creators out there that talk about those 3 topics, they were booming for me. Like those pieces of content were more popular than others. And so what that said to me is, oh my gosh, maybe this is my purpose. And just living my everyday life, creating content out of joy and creating content to document what it was that my life was like. Because honestly, I feel like we should all do that. we should all be documenting our lives, like for the sake of our children, so they do not get lost in the desert like Moses and all the Israelites, because that's literally why they were lost for 400 years, is because they did not properly document. And so the generations after them did not understand what it was they were supposed to do and what the commandments were that they were supposed to keep. But that is a whole nother story. But anyways, when you document, the popularity, it's easier to see the popularity. So for me, I feel like social media, when it comes to YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, is a very powerful tool for identifying your purpose, okay? Do it even when nobody is watching, and then you will start to see what it is that you need to be doing, okay? Whether or not you want to make it into a business is up to you, but you will discover your purpose, because people are going to gravitate towards what God has placed in your life, because you may not be able to see it, but it's a lot easier for other people to be able to see. Just like for you, it may be easy for you to see other people's purpose and what they're supposed to be doing and their calling, but it's hard for you to see your own. It's the same thing for other people looking into your life. Number 3, you're drawn to certain problems you cannot ignore. I used to think this was a bad thing. I used to be like, why do I have to be the person who's taking in all the strays? That's what they call it, taking in all the strays. My grandma was like that. Like, she took anybody into her house, okay? Like, you want to eat? She's taking you in. You need somewhere to sleep? She's taking you in. Like, she was a caretaker, right? But for each of us, even if it's not a physical, I'm bringing someone into my house or I'm feeding someone, if you are drawn to certain problems that you can't ignore, for like example, like if there's certain issues in the world that you just cannot scroll past on social media, that is a sign that your purpose is somewhere intertwined or rooted into that. For me, I knew that I was supposed to be working with moms and women leaders, because when I see those stories, it sparks something in me. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, I know I'm not supposed to be in like the DEI area, because I'll see DEI stories all on DEI's diversity, equity, inclusion. I'll see that all on my social media timeline. And I'm like, whatever. Like, yeah, I'm African American. I'm in the DEI group, but I don't have a pulling for that, right? When I see racial things, I don't have a pulling for that. When I see, men's health issues, I don't have a pulling for that. When I see people talking about motherhood and divorce, I don't have a pulling for that. When I see people, when I see athletes, here's a good one. When I see athletes, like endurance athletes, when I see people running, specifically women, they could be moms or not moms, doesn't matter. But when I see them running and beating the odds and doing athletic things and taking back control of their health and studying the Bible and getting close to God and building communities of women, like that right there, it sends me to the moon. Like, I cannot scroll without liking it. Some of y'all's posts, I want to like 2, 3, 4 times, but the platform will only let me double tap one time. It only counts for one time. Okay. But I wish I could like it 50 times. That's how I knew these are the people I'm called to serve. People that want to take back control of their health. People that want to break bondage. They want to break generational curses. Like, that did something for me. And so for you, there may be a particular area that pulls on you. You know, it may be pets. You may, every time you see a piece of pet content, you're like, man, I really care about animals. Right? Don't ignore that. It's not, oh, I just care about animals. Everybody cares about animals. Like, no. If it's feeling like something like deep in your soul, a lot of what we're talking about today is like really going to be you tuning into the Holy Spirit. Okay. Some of y'all call it your intuition. It's the Holy Spirit, but whatever, it's really going to be you starting to listen to yourself and validate your inner emotions and validate what it is that you want, instead of invalidating it because it's different or invalidating it because of what somebody else said. Because that happens a lot as you grow. Sometimes we tend to carry on the voices of people that are not here. We tend to carry on the voices of people that are not here, and they tend to be criticizing and judgmental voices. So we have to be careful of that. But just become aware of the things that get you excited and light a fire in you, things that you love to look at and watch on social media is going to help you. Okay. Number 4, you excel without trying. We call this the grace over grind method. Okay. The grace over grind method. You excel at something without trying. That is tied into your purpose in some way. Okay. It's tied into your purpose in some way. Do not overlook it. Do not downplay it. That's what happens with a lot of women. We downplay. Sorry, y'all. This is what happens with a lot of women. We say, oh, that's easy for me. And we downplay it. And then when we're looking for our purpose and looking for what we're supposed to be doing, we think that it has to be hard. Struggle is not required for blessings. It's not. It is a part of the process sometimes. But guess what? When you're called to do something, a part of you operating in that calling is going to require you to use things that you are naturally good at. So part of it is going to feel easy. Sometimes things are going to feel smooth. There's not always going to be opposition. Sometimes there is, sometimes there isn't. But do not downplay the things that you are naturally good at and the things that you naturally excel at. There's this like crazy concept of, identify your strengths and weaknesses and then spend all your time turning your weaknesses into your strengths. No, identify your strengths and weaknesses and spend your time operating in your strengths. The only time you should focus in on a weakness is when you have identified that weakness, getting stronger in that weakness is going to directly tie to getting you to where you need to be in your purpose. That is the only time you should be focusing on your weakness. Otherwise, you are not getting a reward for being the best at everything that ever was. It's not happening. Okay. So start paying attention to those things that you naturally excel at. You may want to make yourself a list. Just sit down and give yourself a 5-minute timer and say, I'm going to list all the things that I feel like I'm really good at, that I don't really have to put a lot of effort into. If you need help, you can also reach out if you have like a best friend or somebody that really cares about you, not somebody that's critical. Okay. This is not the time to call in Judgy Joe and Judgy Jane and Judgy Janice, okay, and Critical Carl. This is not the time to call those people, okay? But you want to write down all the things that you're naturally good at and or ask them, hey, what do you feel like I'm naturally good at? And people will tell you. And you may be surprised because some of the things that people will tell you may be things that you haven't even really thought about or you don't really think about on a deep level because they're so easy for you. But they're often tied to your purpose because you were made for this. Yeah. Right? That's where that comes from. You were made for this. So it's going to feel like you were made for it when you step into it. The only reason why you will experience opposition when you are operating in your purpose is when you are lacking in skill set or you're lacking in character development. That's what struggle is. Okay, that's what struggle is, what pruning is, what pain is, what trials are, what obstacles are. Those are God's way of developing your character, iron sharpening iron, and you gaining the skill set that you need in order to really do this thing and take it to another level. That's the only time you'll experience it. So anytime something bad happens, you instead of saying, oh my gosh, this is so horrible, this is so bad, I need you to say, what is the skill I'm getting out of this? What is the part of my character that needs to be developed? What part of me is dull that's being sharpened right now? Because if I direct my energy towards taking myself to the next level in that area, then I don't have to be in this storm as long as I am in this storm. I don't have to be in this storm as long as I think I do. Think about that. All right. Number 5, last but not least, doors keep opening in one specific direction. Take a compliment. Take a compliment and be open to receiving. If doors keep opening in a specific direction, stop saying no because you don't feel like you're ready. If the door is open, you're ready. Step in it. Guess what happens when you if the door opens and you don't think you're ready and you step into it anyway and things go amazing. Wow, things went amazing. Guess what happens when a door opens and you don't think you're ready and you don't step into it? Things stay the same. Like, what do you have to lose? This idea that there's going to be this super downfall, you're never going to get the opportunity again, you're going to feel bad. You should feel uncomfortable when you step into an open door. You should feel uncomfortable because what God is calling you to is going to call you outside of the comfort zone. So yeah, it's going to be uncomfortable. When you're doing big things, great things, courageous things, bold things, it's going to be uncomfortable. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Okay? Be comfortable with being uncomfortable. But if the doors keep opening in a specific direction, it's because you're either ready or you're being tested. And I don't want you to fail the test. And I know you don't want to fail the test either. So you've got to step through the door whether you think you're ready or not. Because a lot of us, the door is opening and we shutting it. The door is opening and we shutting it. The door is opening and we shutting it. And then we're like praying like, God, where's my opportunity? When we finally decide that we feel prepared, where's my opportunity, baby? This is not your timing. You're on God's timing, sis. The door was open 4 times 3 years ago. And you kept shutting it, kept shutting it. And now somebody else is walking through the door and you're wondering what happened. Oh, because you tried to do this thing on your timing. No, 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 no. When the door is open, you may not notice it the first time, but this right here is for you if the door has opened multiple times. Hey, we want you to come sit on a panel. Nah, I'm good. Hey, we want you to come sit on a panel. Nah, I'm good. Girl, go sit on a panel somewhere, okay? Go speak on stage somewhere. Hey, can you help me fix my resume? No, I'm not really that great at that, but I can send you somebody else. Hey, can you help me fix my resume? No, I'm not really good at that. Girl, that is the door is opening, okay? It doesn't matter how big, it doesn't matter how small the opportunity is. When the door is open, say yes and then prepare. Sometimes you have time to prepare beforehand and then you can say yes. But sometimes you got to say yes and then go prepare, okay? Y'all know that saying, success is when opportunity meets preparation. It does not say opportunity comes first, and it doesn't say preparation comes first and then comes opportunity. It just says when the two meet. Sometimes they come opportunity, preparation. Sometimes it comes preparation, opportunity. Either way, opportunity is outside of your control. You cannot handle that. Preparation is what you can handle. So when you see opportunity, you have to grab it. You got to grab it. And then you can deal with the preparation later, okay? People who are successful, they take opportunities. That's what failing forward is you saying, I'm going to take the opportunity. I'm going to prepare as much as I can, as best as I know how. I'm going to use my resources. I'm going to reach out to my network and figure things out. And if I fail, I did more than what I would have done if I would not have moved at all. That's failing forward, okay? And you got to get comfortable with failing forward. And listen, it's not always a failure. Sometimes